Okay, let's get this bit out of the way first. The Coalition were and are a train wreck. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Our current PM is a definite step up from the last guy. Again, there's no doubt about that either. But heading into winter with a new government, there would have been plenty of people expecting a change in how the pandemic was managed. An expectation the new government would be transparent in its decision making and that they'd trust the science. Instead, we've got more of the same. Now, before people white knight their way through to the comments, consider some facts. When in opposition, Albanese was often critical, and rightly so, of the secrecy around the Morrison government and National Cabinet decision making. This included him slamming the rejection of an FOI request for the release of National Cabinet documents. Now, with that in mind, here's some of Albanese's press conference following his first National Cabinet as Prime Minister.
Myself and the Premiers and Chief Ministers are happy to take a few questions.
Prime Minister, last year when you had a Freedom of Information request for National Cabinet documents blocked, you said it was an extraordinary decision and Scott Morrison was obsessed with secrecy. Did you suggest ending National Cabinet secrecy today? And if not, what changed?
No.
What changed?
You've got to ask one question.
Prime
That's
Minister.
the way they'll work.
At the most recent National Cabinet, where isolation requirements were further relaxed, and the requirement for masks on domestic flights removed altogether, it has been reported that there was no written health advice provided, and no modelling had been commissioned to underpin the decision making. I guess we can understand now why the government has backflipped on the need for transparency when it comes to National Cabinet. The decision to reduce the isolation period from 7 to 5 days would not appear to have a strong scientific basis. Research from The Lancet a few weeks back suggests that reducing the isolation period to 5 days would release approximately 2/3 of still infectious cases into the community, whereas that drops to 1/3 at the 7-day mark. The move does not seem to have been supported by a few of the MPs with medical backgrounds, including at least one from the Labor Party. Here are some more facts. Since Anthony Albanese was sworn in on the 23rd of May 2022, there have been 5,981 COVID-19 deaths in Australia, or approximately 56 deaths per day. On current numbers, by the middle of October, there will have been more COVID-19 deaths recorded under an Albanese government than there were after the 2+ years under the Morrison government. 2022 has been the worst year of the pandemic for Australia to date. There's no doubt about that. We're a third of the way through the year and there are almost 12,000 dead. We went into winter knowing it was going to be bad. Well, the people that have been paying attention knew that anyway. But winter was allowed to run its course anyway, with only the most token of efforts made. And even then, they were only to quell some of the negative press that was coming through. Heading into winter in Victoria at least, it was really only the Greens that were agitating for action. It's probably not a surprise that the Greens spokesperson is a medical doctor and researcher. With one eye on the election, by the time the Victorian government were dragged to the party, it was a case of too little too late. We know that the Victorian government has started to pick and choose the health advice that they take also. Certainly makes a change from the mantras of years past. It's no surprise to me that Victoria suffered the highest number of COVID deaths this winter of any state, by any measure. People don't like hearing it, but the 2022 numbers are massive, and there will be no amount of minimising that can hide that fact.